We've spoken about Emma Donahue's The Room on this channel, and this book also has its disturbing and sad film adaptation. In 2015, Lenny Abrahamson releases The Room, and the film is rather faithful to the original story. However, we must, we must take a look at it a wee bit deeper so that all of you film lovers out there might want to check it out, and maybe this will make you want to read the book. Welcome to Check That Book, a special place where we get acquainted with arguably the most disturbing books ever written. We recite poetry here, sometimes we talk about not so disturbing books, and of course, we take a look at some of the best or worst film adaptations of said books. Today's no exception. Today we're looking at Room. For those of you who don't remember, I strongly recommend you check out my video on the book Room. But long story short, it's another sad and depressing story about captivity and escape. Let's dive into it. It's a sad one, really. Might ruin your day. So in the book, we have the story told entirely from the first-person perspective of a 5-year-old Jack who is imprisoned. His innocent and limited understanding filters all the events, creating a unique voice and emotional depth, which arguably can make the book a bit less disturbing. The film uses a more traditional third-person visual storytelling approach. While Jack's voiceover is present at times, it cannot fully replicate the immersive subjectivity of the novel. As always, you have internal monologue in the book. If you do, it's sometimes transferred to a movie quite bizarrely. Sometimes word for word and method for method, so we do have a voiceover in this case as well, but like I mentioned, it's not always there. And I think it works for the movie's benefit, actually. The film obviously relies on visuals, facial expressions, and occasional narration to convey Jack's perspective, which inevitably reduces the depth of his inner world. So it does, in my opinion, because I compared book and the film. I read the book before watching the film, so it was a bit laid on thick for me, kind of. Uh, but at the same time, I figured, what if, imagine for a second there, what if I'm watching this as a completely a first time viewer, as a complete stranger to the story? What would I experience? How would I live through this experience, would be the correct wording. So I asked myself, Ro, what do you feel looking at this visual? And I felt empty. Not in a bad way, mind you. I felt sad, true, but I felt empty. I didn't feel as empty as when I read the book because, again, Jack's naivety kind of lightened it up a little bit, for me at least. Of course, it's all very sad, and we as adults understand what's going on, but it was still a bit on the lighter side, which can make it a rather okay and easy read for a lot of you non fans of the disturbing. If you don't like the disturbing, but you want a deep and serious tale, go for the book. I highly suggest that. It doesn't necessarily have to be one of the most disturbing books ever written. I think I talked about this on my channel. In the video that's in the description. It's just a good book. A sad one, yes, but it's not as shocking. But to be fair, neither is the movie. The book offers more background and psychological nuance, especially for Ma, Joy in the film, her trauma, depression, and resilience are explored in greater depth through Jack's observations and her own dialogue. The film condenses some of this development due to time constraints, obviously, while Brie Larson's performance adds emotional depth. Some of the internal struggles and Ma's backstory are less detailed. Again, one of the most obvious differences here is that the book is gradual and retrospective, while the film tends to speed up the events. But that's quite understandable. Again, time limits. Some complexities and family dynamics are rather streamlined or implied even than explored in detail. I would, yeah, that's how I would put it. But that's okay. The film is very emotional. Also, the book provides more nuance to supporting characters such as Grandma, Grandpa, and Dr. Clay, partly due to Jack's detailed observations, while the film, some of these characters are less developed or even altered. For example, Grandpa's reaction to Jack is present but more subdued than in the book. Also, Jack's relationship with his environment whilst being captive in the room is very symbolic. It was interesting to read, but when you watch the film, it's a bit harder to convey the same emotion through spoken language. But I don't think this particular story needed any kind of extra symbolism. After all, I mean, maybe if Lars von Trier had made this film, maybe yes, but not in this case. Not in this case. The moment when Jack escapes his captor, I'm not going to spoil how he does it, but at that moment he gets his first proper look at the sky. That brings a tear to the eye, actually. It really does. It does things to you. I mean, it's no Green Mile by any means. I mean, Green Mile makes me just. I cry like a sissy. Who doesn't? By the way, do you want me to talk about The Green Mile, the book and the film? I like them both. I can make a video about that. After all, it kind of fits into the category of the disturbing, doesn't it? But like I've mentioned previously in some of my other videos, that this channel doesn't have to be solely about the disturbing. So let me know in the comments section, would you like me to occasionally cover just a good book and its film adaptation, good or not so good? Whilst the film adaptation remains very faithful in spirit and major plot points, the novel's emotional and psychological depth, especially Jack's internal voice, is inevitably richer due to the literary format. But the film compensates with powerful performances and visual storytelling. And there you have it. That was Room. Did I ruin your day? I hope I did, because the matter is quite serious. Based on a true life case, the whole shebang, I highly recommend you check this one out. This is a piece of serious cinema, I think. Or should be. It's a serious subject. And I believe, as much as I read the actual case files, at least the ones that are accessible, it follows the true crime quite closely. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like disturbing and sometimes not so disturbing, but hopefully interesting content, consider giving this video a boost in the form of an erect thumb, and make sure to subscribe for more, and stay tuned for more poetry recitings and all of that jazz. Take good care of yourselves and your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen, and I shall see you all as soon as possible. Goodbye.